Hi, folks, and welcome to another Guitar Conversations. This is very special. This is the very first virtual guitar conversation that I've ever done, and also the very first classical guitarist we've got as our guest. Would you please welcome Milica Davies? Millie!
Hello, Martin.
Sorry, you can't hear everybody applaud.
I'm sure they're doing it.
Really lovely to see you, Millie. I haven't seen you for quite some time now.
I know.
I remember
What has
we
happened?
played together at the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland a few years ago. I think Clive Carroll was on that concert as well.
That's right. Clive Carroll, Marcus Bonfanti, you and me.
Oh, that's of course. Because you've collaborated with quite a few guitar players over the years from different genres. Clive Carroll, John Renbourn, Paul Wright, of course, Ramon Ruiz, and some fella called Tommy Emmanuel. He's going to be our guest again very, very, very soon. And another guy I've never heard of called Martin Taylor. So,
oh gosh, yeah, I don't know who he is, but I heard he's amazing. Yeah.
You've got to be very careful who you mix with. Millie, it's wonderful for you to be here. You know, you're just one of my favorite guitar players, and you compose music too. And I think really just get things started. Why don't you just play us something? We want to hear you play.
Sure.
Beautiful. What's that called?
That's called Sanctus. It's just a composition for my second album.
Part one was really fascinating, where Millie was talking about early years in Bosnia and going to the local music school. And then because of the Civil War, the family moved as refugees to Australia, to Western Australia. And Millie picked up on the guitar again. So,
and I literally was self-taught for about 18 months. And I went from literally grade 1 to about grade 8. I could play Asturias at about age of 12. But like not really well. Like I could actually play it. I could sight read it. I knew where the notes were. But obviously my technique needed sorting out.
It's interesting that you said that, because I didn't know that about you, that you had that time where you were kind of figuring things out yourself. But that makes sense to me now. Probably one of the things that really attracts me about your playing as well, and that I feel, is that depth in your playing.
Yeah,
that's come from that experience, that kind of self-taught experience, albeit for a short while, and of course the really quite a traumatic experience you had. And fleeing a civil war. Somebody that became very important, in your life was Dr. Casey, of course.
Oh my God, yeah.
At the University of Western Australia. There's a lovely photograph actually with him that I've seen on your website, and with, of course, the great John Williams.
Yes. John Casey's tuition was unbelievable. Like, he had ensembles at university. He had an outside ensemble called Guitarstrophe, which was like a guitar orchestra. And he literally had 30 guitarists from the age of 13 until like 25 or whatever, playing as an orchestra. And his work was recognized by John Williams and, so many other people as being really pedagogical, really incredibly important. And it was really playing with other people, working on your sight reading and things like that. That was incredible.
It's the same for all musicians, that we're people you meet along the way can make such a huge difference.
And our lessons were more like psychology sessions. Like It was
My lessons, I play with everyone's heads, with their minds.
all right. But you know, that is what you kind of really pass on as well. It was more about psychology, about surviving. Like, I never had counseling for, like, you know, having been like through a civil war or anything.
Mm.
But John Casey was everything to me. He was my counselor, my best friend, incredible mentor, and he could teach me guitar. What a bonus! So
Wow, it's quite something.
yeah, I think his biggest gift to me was time again, because every Saturday he would leave his own family to come and play with a bunch of kids, and literally to direct the ensemble. He had a vision. He took us to festivals. And he started to recognize that I was writing more as well. And he said to listen to that voice.
You also had this other aspect as well. You're also a performer. You enjoyed performing and composing, writing your own music, which a lot of classical players don't do. They just they play the repertoire.
Yeah, it wasn't traditionally like that. If you look at the time of Tariga, Barrios, Sor, Giuliani, everybody wrote and played. And then comes the time of Segovia. And then after that, to be considered a good classical player, you have to be an interpreter only. And this is something that just didn't come naturally to me. Like, yes, it did, like whilst I was studying. But just imagine this, going to an art academy, like for painting, and copying the greats, and copying to really perfection, but you never put your own name to it. You never actually do anything with it. So it doesn't actually make sense to me. And that's really where, you know, okay, maybe I am not the best classical player in the world, but I actually feel comfortable knowing that actually I express what I feel, I write what I feel, and I play the standard repertoire and actually my own pieces as well. I think, I don't know, it's just natural to me.
Do you think that shift in becoming really interpreters of the music stifled the classical guitar world?
Totally. But you know, nobody can argue that somebody like Ludovico Einaudi is not a good piano player. Nobody can say that, but yet he expresses something different through his music and things like that. And I'm not saying I'm trying to be that for guitar. I'm just actually who I am. It doesn't matter if you like me or not. I just carry on and do what I want. Like,
no, but that's great that you do that. You know, you're a real, you know, I say, you know, you're a real musician. And I think one of the, you know, I said that when I saw Segovia, I didn't want to become a classical player because I from what I knew of it, it would be too stifling for me to have to play things in the same way. And it's interesting that you feel that way too about the classical guitar world being stifled.
To take that a step further, say classic FM. So, for example, it's okay to play covers of kind of pop songs, especially like Beatles or whatever. It's okay to kind of cover that, but it's not okay to kind of bring out original music. And that's where
that's true.
You know, it's like really stupid that you can't. Because I mean, just imagine somebody like Leonard Cohen. Imagine if he just did covers.
He plays one of these guitars.
Oh, he did. He did. He made him really famous.
One of these. Yeah.
Everybody wanted one after he played it. I mean, just like everybody wanted after you.
Make me an offer.
I probably have it.
Hardly ever played. Look, sorry, I interrupted you. Carry on.
Imagine if Leonard Cohen went on to recite other people's poetry and never wrote anything. Now, his compositions may not be like the most complex, but my God, are they emotional and fantastic, you know? And he continued to produce until the age he died, like 84, 85, you know? And there he is, like really knowing he's dying and he's recording, and it's just unbelievable. You know, I just think, and actually it makes me want to find out more about him. So he could have been a cover artist, but where is his legacy? That's what I want to know. You know, that's simple. So, you know, you might not get the airplay, but does it really matter? You know, you can kind of die happy. Remember, I have no talent, Martin. So.
that was obviously red rag to a bull. You said, I'm going to show you. And you certainly did show everyone. You know, in 2004,
Yeah.
You were awarded Western Australian, excuse me, Western Australian Citizen of the Year for your contribution to the culture, the arts, and particularly youth arts. That's
Yeah.
quite amazing. You know,
Yeah, I was doing some big things. By the time I graduated from university, and even before, I was doing international concerts, playing in Cambodia,
oh,
Singapore, playing with people like Jose Carreras.
yeah,
Yeah,
Jose Carreras. I mean, that's something. That I mean, that's something you could do and say, okay, now I can die. You know, because Jose
I
Carreras.
couldn't die just then though, but funny thing is because then I would have never met you, Martin. I think you can't really play God with your own life, and we try and do that.
Yeah.
You try and say, okay, no, I'm definitely going to focus on this market, or I'm going to do this. It just doesn't really work, does it? And okay, part of it might work, and then you hit a brick wall, and then you have to reassess and move in a different direction. Then you find, oh my God, this direction was the best thing ever.
I think what it is, if we just think of ourselves all the time, we're just thinking of what's happening with us. We don't take into account that for any one thing to happen, countless number of things need to happen to make that happen. So if you just focus on that one thing of yourself, then you're missing out on all those other opportunities. When you were given that award in 2004, Western Australian Citizen of the Year, absolutely wonderful for your contribution to culture and the arts. You repaid them by emigrating to the UK. And you relocated to London. Say thanks, guys. Thanks for the award.
Yeah, I was nominated 3 years in a row. First year I didn't get it. Second year I didn't get it. Third year I leave to go to England, and that's when I get it. I was hugely ambitious. I was 22, so I literally wrote to a few managers and booking agents, and I said, look, I've done support for Jose Carreras. I've done this. I've done that. Played Concerto de Ranouez, etc. I'm looking to do support for such and such artists. And I wrote to Tommy Emmanuel's booking agent at the time.
You wrote to my son, didn't you? I think to James.
Yeah, wrote to, yes,
yeah.
I did.
Because I remember James saying to me, "Oh, this wonderful guitar player has contacted me." Yeah, and he was telling me all about that. That's how we got together. And that's how we got to work together. We've got to work together more. Once all this pandemic thing, we'll get our way through it. And
it'd be lovely. It'd be lovely. Whenever, honestly,
we need to do something.
Absolutely, it'd be nice.
Yeah, so when you went to the UK and then,
well, I got kind of this booking agent that had Tommy Emmanuel, Clive Carroll, John Ramborn on the books. And he literally started kind of booking me in similar kind of festivals. I kind of start to think, well, look, I've met all these amazing people and I've kind of almost had a career and I just want to have a family now and things like that. And
so you have 2 children now?
I have 2 children. They're 10 and nearly 8, you know. So
really?
I had my daughter kind of in my late 20s and my son just around when I turned 30. And they're really like everything. I've got a girl and a boy. It's beautiful.
So that's a full-time gig.
It is really my full-time gig, and I teach at 2 schools. And literally, I thought actually I had my career really, and then I started writing again. You know, when my son was about 2, I wrote like a whole album of stuff, and I thought, oh, I've got to do something with this, and I thought, oh, I can't really, and I thought, no, I have to do something with this, and I thought, what I'm looking for is a bit more rhythm. And then I kind of think, well, what genre has rhythm? And I kind of think, well, flamenco guitar. And I start looking on the kind of flamenco guitarists on YouTube because I didn't really know any real ones. And Ramon Ruth stands out for me. And I just think, wow, he's amazing. And he writes his own things, so he won't be laughing at me for writing. You see, because that was the opening. I needed somebody who could kind of write their own things, not just interpret, and help me with arranging and everything. And honestly, that was like the incredible thing, really. That's how I wrote this whole album, Go South in the Winter, and learned a lot more about rhythm, you see, because classical players are terrible at rhythm. I was terrible at rhythm until I started playing with him, and he was just like, no, you have to feel it with your heart. Like, you can't just...
That's what I tell all my students. Well, the thing about rhythm and time is it's all physical. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not here. So you've got this idyllic life where you still you're not touring like you did before, but you've got more of a home life. But you're also teaching as well, aren't you?
Yeah, my perfect balance is like really teaching and then teaching online as well. And I kind of compose, record, and literally do 1 or 2 concerts a year, which kind of, it doesn't disrupt my flow too much, because I found when I try to do more like 3 or 4, I know this sounds terrible. Like, I mean, you probably do 300 a year.
I used to.
But I found actually I was stagnating, like personally, like I wasn't writing new stuff, and it really started to bother me. And I'm like, oh no, I have to revise my old things again, and it really started to bother
because
me.
I know for classical guitar, you really have to stay on top of things. So, what's your kind of a practice regime?
Well, you see, the thing is, I teach some 26 students a week minimum. So I'm playing all the time. Even in pop music, like that gets my right hand going.
The thing that I noticed in the classical guitar world,
Yeah,
there's no shortage of female players, and female players are really high level. Why do you think this is?
well, I'd say they're kind of overtaken, like the boys. Really, actually, let's put it out there. I mean, like players like Vidovic, Jaffe, Young. They're as good as John Williams and Julian Bream, and actually better as well. I have to say, they're incredible.
And I met Liz through playing music as well. Not that she played music,
but guitars get you girls.
Yeah.
I know.
No, she didn't even know I played guitar.
Oh, really?
I was playing in a band in a town where she was, but she didn't even know I played the guitar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But Millie, thank you so much. You've been an absolutely wonderful guest. I knew you would be. That's why I wanted to have you here and share this with my patrons, and it will go further afield at some point, I'm sure. And I wish you continued success and happiness more than anything, and even more than happiness, contentment.
Do you know, that's incredible.
Even better.
Yeah. That's what life's about, I think.
Yeah. Nice rich bass. See, you couldn't do that on an archtop guitar.
Oh, you sound beautiful. Oh my god. That's so nice. Oh, it's got real soul to it. I like it, actually. Oh, it's incredible. I like it a lot. It's beautiful.
You can really kind of milk that melody. When I used to work with Stefan Grappelli, he always used to say he could really play a melody so beautifully on the violin.
Yeah.
And he used to say to me, he had funny expressions, and one of them he used to say to me, Martin, the public, they are like a lemon. You must squeeze them.